for it. The time for oral questions is concluded. Would some honourable member care to move that the House take notice of miscellaneous business? The Honourable Amy.
I so move. Mr. Speaker, well, we've had a lot of noise out of the Beltway this week, but you want to know one thing I know that New Zealanders are saying?
What's that?
The cost of living is going up under this government. Under this government, it is getting harder and harder for New Zealand families to get ahead. And isn't this the government who in the election campaign told us they were all about families? They were all about the lowest income families. And what have we seen since they've been in government? They have put in place fuel taxes that are meaning the lowest income families are having to choose between putting food on the table or filling their car to get to work or to get to the kids to school or to get to sport. That's what this government has prioritised. They have prioritised petrol taxes that hit the hardest, the most, over the needs of those families to put food on the table. Mr. Speaker, we've just seen this week actually Stats New Zealand come out and say that we've seen one of the steepest rises in the cost of living we've seen for some time. Far steeper, actually, than the market was expecting. And the biggest single rise, really, of the household costs, 19% increase in the cost of petrol over the last year. 19% increase. And we have a government that wants to dodge and weave and hide its impact on that. For all of the nonsense we've heard from the Prime Minister that taxes are only 6-something cents, the public know the truth. The public know that thanks to this government's fuel taxes, it is costing them more and more to fill their car. The average household in Auckland is paying $324 a year more in taxes. Not just to fill their car, more in taxes because of the Labour government that they thought had their back. And you want to talk about rents? Well, because this government doesn't understand that if you drive landlords out of the market, rents go up, those same families are paying rents $20 a week, Mr Jones, higher under the government that you're supporting than they previously paid. $20 a week higher on average every week in rent costs because of a government that doesn't understand the relationship between what it does and the market. Mr Speaker, we heard today in the House from the Minister of Finance that the government is unapologetic about imposing these new costs. Unapologetic about putting in place bans that mean their energy costs are going to go up, their fuel costs are going up, their housing costs are going up, their food costs are going up. And they may get advice that tells them that, but they simply choose not to agree with it. What incredible arrogance. What incredible arrogance to simply say, we are unapologetic, we're ignoring all of the advice that tells us this is hurting Kiwi pockets. This is hurting the governments of the people of New Zealand. And what's it for? Well, the Prime Minister tries to tell us it's going to improve congestion in Auckland. And look, that would be a wonderful thing, but here's the truth. Those fuel taxes are paying for a trolley through the Prime Minister's electorate. They're paying for a trolley service up Dominion Road and through Mr Twyford's electorate. So $5 billion has come out of the state highway budget to pay for a trolley in Jacinda Ardern's own electorate and in Phil Twyford's own electorate. And in Selwyn and in the South Island and in the East Coast and in Coromandel and in Northland, hard-working families are paying petrol taxes brought in by this government to pay for a trolley service up Dominion Road that isn't going to do a damn thing for congestion in Auckland. And Mr Speaker, let's talk about energy costs. Let's talk about energy costs, because this government again came out and announced an oil and gas ban without any consultation, without any cabinet process, without any good analysis that told them it was a good idea. And today, we've got industry experts saying that we have an energy system that is, and I quote, creaking and groaning under pressure, and that is an immediate threat to this economy. An immediate threat to the economy because the guys on that side of the House had no idea how to run an economy that actually benefits New Zealanders. I'll give them a clue. New Zealanders do better when they can get ahead. New Zealanders do better when there are opportunities and a government that backs them, not a government that's imposing more taxes, that's putting up the cost of fuel, that's putting up the cost of housing, that's seeing their electricity costs go up, their food costs go up and their jobs go down. Mr Speaker, the people of New Zealand can feel incredibly let down by this government in its first 12 months. Every day when they go to the petrol pumps, they know that this government is taking more money out of their pockets because they can't control their own spending.
The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, that was